everybody, welcome to another episode of Explain It to Me PDAC, where we go through different academic problems and different subjects to help you out students and also you out parents. So today we're going to work on math, and this is 4th grade math. And so I would say this probably can apply to those from 3rd to 5th grade because everything, especially in math, builds upon each other. And so even if you're not in these grades and you're just coming back for a refresher, welcome. Glad you joined us. So what we're going to start with today is multiplying by tens. I am going through a packet, ignore the sticky note, that was given to one of our students here at Purpose Driven Advocacy Center, and this student is in 4th grade. And so we're going to do a couple problems from this actual packet from the school and then go through it. So one of the reasons why we're doing these videos is because sometimes the way and the methods that are taught in the schools are different than how us parents and guardians and other people we just love the children and learn these same concepts in school. And so we're going to do how I have taught my tutoring students at PDAC is I essentially teach them 2 different methods. One, I teach them the way that I taught it because then they're able to learn the actual concepts, and then they learn the method that the school is teaching them. One thing that we found here at PDAC is that it's not that they don't understand the concept of the actual concept that's being taught, is they don't understand the method that it's being taught, and hopefully that makes sense. So if you get your student to understand the concept, then they can understand the method. This has been proven to work for our students for the last few years, ever since they changed it. And so that's the way that these videos are going to be structured, especially with math. And so we're just going to start with double multiplication. This in the packet says multiply by tens, and it's Common Core Standard CC.4.NBT.5. And it says use place value understanding and properties of operations to perform multi-digit arithmetic. So we're going to start with double multiplication. So double multiplication means we have a 2-digit number and a 2-digit number. So first, we're going to go through it the way that I was taught so that you understand the concept. So, can we see this on the board? We can. Actually, I'm going to write it bigger. So first, let's understand what we are doing here. So the problem is 60 times 16. Okay? So what you do is you go one place value by another place value. So this one over here is ones, and forgive me, I did not leave myself a lot of space. This one over here is tens. So when I'm teaching my students place value, I always have it labeled like this first, and you cannot see that, but I did write tens here and ones here. I do have them label it so that they can visually understand. And so what you're doing is you're starting in the number on the bottom, the number in the ones column. You're going to multiply it by the number in the ones column for the top number. Then multiply it by the number in the tens column. Then you move over to here, the tens column, do tens times ones, and then tens times tens. So it's almost like an X shape. And I know you can't see that, just know it's an X shape. So let's start. So 6, starting in the ones column, 6 times 0 is 0. So we write that in the ones column. Then 6 times 6 is 36. So since we don't have any more numbers over here, we write the whole 36 down here. So essentially we just did 60 times 6. That's 360. Okay? So now we're going to move to the 1 because that is the bottom number in the tens column. So because we're in the tens column, we're going to put a 0 to hold the ones column because we're over here, not in the ones column. And we're going to do the same thing. So 1 times 0 is 0. So that goes under here because we're multiplying here first. And then 1 times 6 is 6. Okay? Got it? Good. Now you have your 2 answers down here and you just add. 0 plus 0 is 0. 6 plus 0 is 6. 3 plus 6, or 6 plus 3 is 9. So 60 times 16 is 960. This is the way that I teach so that the kids can understand the actual concept. So now let's teach the method that they're teaching in school. So what it actually says on the packet, and I'm reading from the packet, is they are wanting the students to use the halving. They want the students to use the halving and doubling strategy. And so we're going to rewrite the problem here. And I'm just going to write them side by side so that we can see the difference between the two. And actually, hopefully this marker works. It does. We'll just draw a different colored line in between so that there's some visual separation. Okay, so what they're saying is to find the half of the smaller number. So the smaller number between these two is 16. So 16, marker don't go out, divided by 2 equals 8. So that is half of the smaller number. Hopefully you can see that. There we go. So we have the smaller number. So 16 divided by 2 is 8. And then what they want you to do is multiply this number by 60. So we no longer have 60 times 16. We have 60 times 8. So then we're essentially going to do the same method that we did over here for multiplying. So the ones column times 8 times 0 is 0. And then 8 times 6 is 48. So 60 times 8 is 480. Then what they want you to do is double this. Now they want you to double this because we have this. So really it's just putting the numbers back that we took away. So 480 times 2. So since we only have 1 in the ones column here, so we have a ones column, tens column, and hundreds column, we're going to just multiply. So 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 8 is 16. You write the 6, carry the 1. 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9. So we get 960. We get the same answer. All right? So this is why I teach how to do it and then teach the method that they need to know. Teaching the students the method that they need to know is very important because a lot of the times in the classes and on the tests, they also get graded on how they are solving the problems. So it's not enough to just know the problem, it's enough, they need to know how to do it too. So we're going to go through this again. So we have our problem 60 times 16. They want you to divide the smaller number by 2. Okay, so the smaller number between these two is 16. So 16 divided by 2 is 8. Then they want you to take this number and multiply it by the big number in the original problem. So then we have 60 times 8. Okay, so then 60 times 8, and we're multiplying, and that's 480 because we went through and multiplied. And then what they need you to do essentially is to now multiply that answer by 2 since we divided by 2. Multiplication and division are opposites. And so they're just putting the numbers back, like you're almost undoing what you did is pretty much what they're doing. So hopefully that didn't confuse you. So then you have to multiply this number and go through it. Essentially what I see from this method is that they want it to be easier, I guess, by having a single number being multiplied by, like in this case, a double-digit number or a triple-digit number. However, you still come up with the same answer. So I teach this way because it teaches them how the concept of multiplying different numbers by each other, because that is something that they're going to need later on in different maths. So knowing that you take the first number and multiply by the ones or the tens, and then you add the 0 to hold the place, and then move the tens over here and go through it. That's important to know. But again, please also make sure they know the method that the teacher wants them to learn so that they can do it that way. So we're going to do another problem. All right. Let's do 80 times 22. Okay. So just like last time, this will be I'm going to call it like the old school way, and this will be the current way that the students are learning. So in this section, we're going to take the ones column for the bottom number and multiply it by the ones and tens for the top number. Then take the tens in the bottom number and multiply it by the ones and tens in the top number. So let's go through it. So we're going to start with this 2 over here. 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 8 is 16. We draw 0 to hold the place because I'm moving over to the tens column. 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 8 is 16. And then you add these down here. 0 plus 0 is 0. 6 plus 0 is 6. 1 plus 6 is 7. And then 1 plus 0 is 1. So we have the answer 1,760. Let's see if we can get the same answer over here. So we have 80 times 22. So remember, we divide or have the smaller number. So that's 22. So you have 22 divided by 2 equals 11. Okay? And then you need to multiply the big number from the original problem by the number we just halved. So then it's 80 times 11. So then essentially we're doing what we did over here, double digit by double digit. So 1 times 0 is 0. 1 times 8 is 8. Then draw 0 to hold the place. 1 times 0 is 0. 1 times 8 is 8. Add these together. 0 plus 0 is 0. 8 plus 0 is 8. 8 plus 0 is 8. And then we need to multiply by 2. Since we divided this number by 2, we need to get back to 22. And so we're going to multiply this by 2. And my bad for drawing too big. So we're at the bottom of the board, but it's okay. 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 8 is 16. Write a 6, carry the 1. 2 times 8 is 16 plus 1 is 17. And we get the same answer. Okay? So hopefully that makes a little bit more sense. I know that might be a little bit confusing, but we're going to do one more. And this one, we are just going to do, we're not going to do the old school way. We're going to do the new school way. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's do this problem. So again, I'm doing the problems straight from the packet from the school for our 4th grader that they got from the school. So we're going to do this problem. Because this is why sometimes math is tricky, because even though there are rules for math, sometimes there's exceptions. A lot of the time, there's exceptions. So we have a problem. It's 50 times 31. Now, I was saying that you need to have the smaller number. However, the smaller number in this problem is an odd number. You can't have an odd number evenly. So you need to divide the number that you can divide evenly by 2. So that's the exception. If you have a problem where the smaller number is not an even number, you need to divide the other number by 2. So in this case, it's 50 because 31 is an odd number. So we're going to do 50 divided by 2, and that equals 25. So then we do 25 times 31. I'm going to write it over here. I'm going to just put 31 on top. All right. Is that big enough for you to see? It's not. It's not. It's not. Actually, we're going to rewrite this. Sorry. What was it? 31. Yeah. Okay. I'm just rewriting it. So 50 divided by 2 equals 25. All right. So then we have 31. So that's from the original problem, times 25, because that's halved, right? Okay, so then we're going to do the cross like we did. 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 3 is 15. Then we hold a 0 because we're moving to the tens column. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 3 is 6. Then we add these two numbers together. 5 plus 0 is 5. 5 plus 2 is 7. 6 plus 1 is 7. Then, because we divided by 2, we now have to multiply by 2 to get those numbers back. So we're going to multiply by 2. I'm just going to rewrite it up here. So we have 775 times 2. So this is what we got now. So 2 times 5 is 10. Write the 0, carry the 1. 2 times 7 is 14, plus 1 is 15. Write the 5, carry the 1. 2 times 7 is 14, plus 1 is 15. Write the whole 15 because we don't have any more numbers. Put our comma, so 1,550. So that is our answer. So that is how you do the halve and doubling method when you're doing double multiplication. So thank you for joining me for this episode of Explain It to Me PDAC. Tune in next time where we're going to do another math topic. See you later. Bye.